Hi and welcome to the third episode of the template tutorial series. In this video we examine why having a template is useful and why you should invest time into building one. I know in the previous video I promised we'd get to building a template in the third episode, but then I remembered another couple of quick things I wanted to cover before that. So the question posed in this video is simple. Why have a template? In a nutshell, it's all about making sure that your composition workflow is as fast and effortless as possible in order to maximize your creative potential. A template allows you to do the following. Number one, it is the fastest way to turn inspiration into music, with every instrument available at your fingertips and ready to go. This is what I consider to be the most important reason to have a template, but at the same time I think this could be far less relevant to some composers. If you like to sketch out all of your musical ideas on the piano and finish the composition before you even start orchestrating, then this might not be as crucial to you. However, for me the process of composition is intrinsically connected to orchestration. While composing, I mostly know exactly which instrument I would want playing a specific line. While my starting point could still be a piano sketch, it's probably not going to be very detailed, and I tend to quickly transition from a basic sketch to composing straight for the orchestra. A template allows me to have all my instruments set up and ready to go. This ensures I get my musical ideas out of my head at the fastest possible rate and can move on with the composition. I can't emphasize the importance of speed enough. I think keeping a fast pace while composing is extremely important, as it's all too easy to get stuck on little details, and as a result you could end up wasting valuable inspiration as your creative flow comes to a screeching halt. Which actually brings us to the next point. Number 2, avoid distractions and focus on the music. Digging around in your sample libraries looking for the right instruments, then loading them, setting the levels and routing them to effects, then figuring out what kind of articulations they have and how to trigger them, whether it's key switches, etc, etc. All of this is taking you away from what should really be your main focus during music composition, and that is the music itself. Number 3, having a comprehensive overview of all of your tools. Speaking from my own experience, having lots of different sample libraries means not using every single one of them on a regular basis, as you will develop favorites and main go-tos. This means I sometimes can't remember precisely which articulations or instruments were included in those libraries that I don't use so often. Having an overview of all of the available instruments tends to lead me to using something I might have otherwise overlooked or even potentially forgotten about. Number 4, a familiar layout for ease of use. As you use your template more and more, you become accustomed to it and the way it is laid out. Over time you'll become more adept at navigating and using it, whereas building projects from scratch doesn't really have that benefit unless you spend extra time organizing your projects in a similar fashion every single time. Also, I like to have my templates read like an orchestral score with woodwinds on top and strings at the bottom of the page. I find this kind of layout very helpful as I'm used to reading orchestral scores, and it does provide me with a kind of a bird's eye overview of my composition. For example, this could point out something useful about orchestration. And finally, number 5, faster mixing and exporting. While the needs of every project are different, a template does allow you to have a solid starting point for mixing. You can set your basic levels and effects up in such a way that it's all ready to go. Also, setting up your audio signal flow and grouping it into stems for exports and deliveries is something you'll only really need to do once, rather than having to redo that on every new project. That's all for this video. In the next video I will cover the upsides and downsides of 3 of the most popular methods for building a template in Cubase, which are pre-saved track presets, projects with disabled tracks, and hosting your samples outside of Cubase. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.